today's episode of That Mental Ginger Show, we are talking to poet, author, comedian, J.D. Stevens. JD's a really lovely person, and she has an amazing smile. Well, it's something that can brighten up a room. Well, she's very positive, and has such a great personality about her, considering what things that have kind of gone on in her life and what things that she's been through. Well, I was really honoured to have her on, and I'm sure that you'll love her as a guest as much as I enjoyed talking to her. So let's cut to the intro.
All right, troops.
JD, it is absolutely brilliant to have you on the podcast finally. How have you been, my dear?
I've been good. I've been so good. Laugh Riot Girl has been in town, and I got to meet so many of the Zoom comics.
Oh, nice. Absolutely brilliant. So what ones did you get to meet?
Oh, I got to meet Kelly Zemnikas. Okay, please tell me I'm saying your name right, Kelly. Kelly Zemnikas. I got to meet Ira, my homie.
Yeah.
I got to meet Desiree.
Ooh, very nice.
Yes.
You're like, oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me? 1, 2. Don't worry. We can hear you perfectly fine, my dear. Like, is that absolutely brilliant?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So what I like to do to start off the show is I like to get my guests to start off by telling us their origin story, because that's the one thing we all have in common. We all have an origins. So JD, for my faithful followers, please tell us your origin story.
Okay. It all started when I was 3. No, I'm just kidding. Just so I'm clear, do you mean like my origin with mental health, or?
We'll start with the basics. Where were you born?
I was born in Northridge, California.
Oh, California. That's about all anybody knows of that one, because most time it just sounds like it's the 90s.
Yes, for those for those in the UK or that are in different parts of the United States, Northridge is actually part of Los Angeles County, so it's LA adjacent.
Nice, very nice. So you were born in California. What was it like growing up? What in the LA part? Is it glamorous as it makes out in TV shows, or is there a lot worse to it?
No, so I always grew up in the suburbs outside. So I lived in Sylmar till I was like 2.5, 3, and this is true, a little kid changed that for my mom. They shot a BB gun at our van, and it broke the window and went into my child seat that I was in. Yeah, it was like this close to hitting me, and my mom was like, "We're moving."
Yeah. As a father, I definitely understand that. I would be like, right, let's get to let's run away. So where did you move to?
We ended up moving to Moorpark.
All right. Still in California? Yeah.
So it was about 40 minutes away from that. And it was this sleepy little neighborhood. Yeah. And we stayed there until I was 8. So for those that don't know, when I was 8 years old, we got hit with the big one, which is this big earthquake that happened and scared everybody, including my mom.
Yeah. And she was like, we need to move.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. And then the realtors took advantage of it. I don't think this is legal, but they told my mom that because the house in Thousand Oaks she was looking at the time was built on a volcanic bed, that it wouldn't move in an earthquake, which we can determine is a lie.
Yeah, I would say so. Considering what people know about volcanoes, like the fact that when they erupt, it kind of moves a lot of things, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So did the volcano ever go off? I'm now intrigued with the volcano.
No, it's more like it's a volcanic bed of like those, like those volcano rocks It's just
Yeah.
like a rock bed, I think.
Ah, right. Excuse my ignorance, because in Scotland we don't really have volcanoes. We're lucky that we ever get sun, let alone anything else. There's a well-torn joke that I use where I say I remember summer in Scotland. It was a Tuesday. So that's the kind of running gag. So if your mum was okay with putting up with rain, she should have moved over to Scotland. No earthquakes, just a lot of people moaning about it being mild.
Most of California is mild, minus the fires, droughts, and earthquakes.
We don't really have them. We just have a lot. We just have a lot of people that when it gets to 10 degrees Celsius, they go tops off, and it's always the ones that you're like, no, guys, come on. Just
It's like,
no.
Can we leave those on actually?
Yeah. It's like if I took my top off. No one wants to see a fat middle-aged white guy just being like, yep, look at my happy trail from my belly button. It's ginger like everything else.
That's amazing.
Yep. For those that aren't aware, JD is a comedian. She's very active in the LGBTQ plus community. I hope I said that right, because I am trying my best to be the best ally that I can be. So what got you into comedy?
Oh gosh, actually it was a friend. So I was in the poetry scene first, and a friend of mine was like, hey, so I do comedy too. So I checked it out and I was like, yeah, I need to do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah. And first, I've read your poems, what that you put up on Facebook. Obviously there's more on Instagram that I've now followed, and I'm looking forward to reading them as well. But the stuff that I've read, because that was one of the things that I used to do as a kid, was poems, and got published a couple of times. And I don't it was just a school thing. It wasn't bad. I thought yeah, it was just all right. It was nothing major. And then when I was a teenager, they asked me to come back for like a revival series. And I said to all people that were in my class, like, oh, did you get that letter for the young writers? And they were like, what are you talking about? What, like to write another poem about your teenage years? So I went, no, we haven't got that. And I went around everybody, no one, it was only me that got it. And I was like, son of a bitch, I was good at this. Why did I stop? But yeah, your poems are really good. I love the subject matters that you go into. I love the imagery that you create with it. They're just like reading little short stories, and I think that works for my goldfish attention span.
Aw, thank you.
That sounded like a backhanded compliment. They're great for people with low attention spans, but that's not obviously what I meant. I love the writing, I love the style. So was poetry like a way of you getting your emotions out when you couldn't express them, or you just really like to write? Talk me through the process. I always love hearing the process.
Oh gosh, I've been writing since I was 10. So writing is that love-hate thing, right? So when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a star. And so even though I could write, I didn't want to. I was like, I don't want to be a writer. I want to be a singer. Yeah. And so
I was kind of the reverse, because when I was younger, I had a really, really good singing voice. But I hated it. But I hated it because everybody wanted me to sing. And I was really crippled with self-doubt about it. But of course I wanted to be an actor. And I'm like, So yeah, the one I wanted to do, they were like, no, let's just go and try singing. I'm like, really? You said acting is unstable and you're wanting me to be a singer? Thanks for that. So yeah, I took when you said love-hate relationship, you're writing, I totally get it, because that's the thing that you're probably like, it's natural to you, and you're naturally talented at it, as I can attest from reading it, reading your work. But you're probably like, I've had a creative block. Guess I'll just write another poem.
No, I've become attached to it, but it was like that love-hate thing though. I went through the emo phase that we all do. I'm still.
Oh yes.
Like, emo... what's the word you can't write anymore, by the way?
The word that I can't write. That. Ironically.
No. Like everyone has that word where you look back at it from that time in your life.
Oh, right. Really, it's probably lol. Okay. Because I went through that phase. I can sometimes write it like if it's like friends that messaging or whatever. But I remember I always used to go, lol, that's an oxymoron, you idiot. What you're laughing, then saying the word afterwards. And I was like, oh, ugh. But I thought I was trying to be cool and trendy. And it doesn't work when you're a fat guy with a Limp Bizkit hoodie with slicked back ginger hair. So you look like a ginger Danny Zuko from Greece, but has the body type of Rizzo from Greece. And you're like, no wonder I got beat up every day. It was crazy. It was a time. So what was the emo band that you were into? What was the one that was like your kind of the one that you clung to?
Okay, I don't know if this is properly categorized into emo. So I apologize if not. But Evanescence.
In fairness, they did have a little bit of an emo vibe about them. Well, I would have said that they were more more gothic rock or operatic rock. Well, because they had Evanescence, Nightwish, all those kind of bands that were in that kind of operatic rock phase, and they were really good. Like, and Amy Adams' voice is just, oof, absolutely amazing. So I totally get where you're coming from. I still have the debut album, and I still listen to it. And stupid me, I still try singing "Everybody's Fool" because that was my favorite song. And I'm like, yeah, I can't do that. I can't do that.
I kept trying to write Amy Lee type lyrics.
Yeah.
So like back to like the word that I still can't like look at if I write it or if anyone else does is crimson. Cause I would be like,
oh yes.
I would like write the cheesiest stuff like my crimson regret is and it's like, what are you doing? No.
Yes. Absolutely amazing. Oh, I totally get where you're coming from with that. Oh my goodness. It's like, did you ever go through a phase where you wrote something and you would write a title that was very, very loosely based on it, but had no real meaning, like Funeral for a Friend used to do?
Yes.
Like I would look at their stuff and then I was the same deal. I'd write something there, I'd try and write something really, really random. Like I'd write a song about screwing over democracy and call it "Fat Kids Are Hard to Kidnap." I'd be like, what's that got to do with it at all? But it's the in thing. It's like, oh God, Andrew, what seriously, why did nobody shoot me?
That's amazing. Or I would like dedicate it to my friends and be like, this one's for April. I'm like using name of people that I wasn't actually friends with. So none of my friends go, you called me out. It's like, this one's for April. But it would be like the same damn like Crimson Betrayal and Regret like poem, but with like the name like April's poem on it.
It was like I would go through people where I was singing in karaoke and I'd be like singing a song, and then I remember my dad came up to me and was like, he's like, the songs that you've been singing lately, they're all about how your dad's an arsehole. Should I be worried? And I was like, I might need to go back to counselling, Dad. So it was like you'd always face something like that, and don't be afraid to call your pals out. Like I call my friends out all the time, and they're just like, "Oh, you gave us a shout out, nice one, man." And I'm like, "Yeah, but did you hear what memory I talked about?" "Oh yeah, the one where I hit you while lunchbox. That's all cool." Yeah. No, so obviously we'll touch on the kind of we're trying to touch on the mental health part of it as well. So what if you're comfortable talking about it? Well, also because you never want to pry. What type of things did you experience, like kind of mental health wise? I mean, if you've seen my set, so you know that I run the gambit on it constantly. So one of the rare few that has actually seen my set and declared it not the worst. I was impressed.
I thought it was good.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. So enlighten if you're comfortable. Obviously.
Of course. And I just have to say, like, I am so excited whenever I see somebody that uses their art form to help end stigma. Because I think it's honestly, it's a group effort of all of us, like combining like thoughts and jokes and art and poems into the collective conscience so that we can kind of push against that stigma. So I think it's so cool that you do that. I just had to say.
Thank you very much. Man, my face is going to go the same color as my hair, honestly. I'm blushing that much now. Thank you so much. But it's one of the things that was like I keep saying to people, like, I'm trying to bend the stigma because if I break it, I'll be out of a job.
You're like, I can only bend the stigma so far.
It's like we can work together as a collective to help break this stigma. And if it ever broke, I'd be like, crap, I need to do Tom's Tank Engine videos more often.
Right?
Yep. Right. So your experiences, like I keep butting in, like, my apologies. Like, it's not a very good host right now, am I?
No, it's fine. I mean, okay, so one of my diagnoses is ADHD. So I mean, I bunny trail like no one's business.
Yep.
So
Don't worry, like the tangents are encouraged here, definitely. Like, I'm a tangent man, as you may have guessed. Like, so yeah, it fits in well. We could be talking about something, I'll go squirrel. That's that was something like one of the guests that I'd had on, Chris Shopland, and he has ADHD, and we talked about that as well. Like, does that bother him if that's the kind of stereotype from obviously the film Up, where just it's like the dog. Hi, my name is Squirrel, kind of thing. Does that how does that what kind of like joking like affect you? Does it have an impact? Like, do you feel what a certain way towards it?
mm, well, it's just one of the four. It's the mildest one. So it's like, I'll leave. I don't even have time to. I will say, okay, I think it's great that we can have those jokes. I think they should be left to people that actually have that struggle to tell the jokes, as
Yeah.
opposed to mainstreaming it. And then you have a lot of people like, oh, I have OCD because I do this, or I have ADHD because I do that. It's like, no,
Yeah.
you don't.
Yeah. I always say that I've got like an undiagnosed version of OCD. Like, it was like, I probably do have it, but I've never just had the guts to go, yeah, I think I've got it. Well, but I also think that it would be more an insult if I did, let's say, oh, I think I've got OCD just because I lined up my TV remote so like the Wi-Fi signal. Well, yeah, like, that's not exactly the smartest move in the world, but yeah. So what's been your kind of journey with ADHD? Did it affect like concentration at school, or was it because it was mild, it was more manageable?
Oh my gosh. So no, it's not mild.
Mm.
I love when they're like, you need to wait until you're 18 to have the adult diagnosis in case it changes. And I'm like, it changes for who? It got
Mm.
worse for me. Did it get better for anybody? Like, what is that like?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
um,
I think because
and
like narrow-minded kind of people, or people of old school minds, think a lack of attention span is a child thing, which I can kind of understand because my kids have the memory of a goldfish. Like, so I do get it from that side, but also on the other side, if it's a constant and recurring thing, and it's not just something that you can, like, if they can't hold their attention span for X amount of time, then it should be looked at and it should be like taken seriously. Like, so did you kind of have that stigma as well growing up? It was just like, no, no, you just like, you're just a kid or whatever, and you had to wait till you were over 18 to get diagnosed.
I no, I was diagnosed as a kid, but they make you
Wow.
re-diagnose out here for certain things. I don't think they do it for depression. Depression was just like, now you have depression. And it's like anxiety, you have anxiety.
I've always found with that, I've had things added on to it kind of as it's went on. Like, I started out with, kind of having like depression, and then it was anxiety, and then it was social anxiety, and then it was prone to bouts of psychosis, and then it was prone to suicidal ideation, and then so it just felt like it was like a mental health Jenga tower, just keeping going and going and going. So did you ever find that as well, that you would, like, if you were, say, you're having a bad day and you went to doctors, they go, oh, well, you've got depression, and then they find, oh, you've got something else? Like, what's your Jenga tower like, or your mental health Jenga tower? That's something I've just came up with, so let's see how this goes.
It depends on so many factors. Honestly, it depends how stressed I am. It depends what I'm going through. So at the end of the day, most of my stuff is rooted in trauma, right? So my therapist that I'm working with now is like, yeah, it's PTSD, but we're going to figure out how to work with that, or complex PTSD, which is rooted in childhood trauma. And so it just kind of depends. Have I gotten sleep? Have I taken my meds? Am I really stressed out? Am I really nervous or trying to do well and not trying to fuck up, which means I'm going to fuck up double?
Oh, yeah.
like I notice if I'm in a really stressful situation, my body will actually shut down if it's
Yeah.
stressful enough. If like I was in a situation with someone where I didn't feel safe.
Hmm.
And it wasn't a safe situation. And without going into detail, on that person, right? Enough to like identify them or anything.
Yeah.
My body would just kind of shut down. It would shut
Wow.
down completely. So I would basically lose mobility temporarily. Sometimes I would lose vocalization.
Yeah.
Um, and that is odd and scary and terrifying.
Yeah. Is it kind
And
it's
that,
kind of similar to like as you know, like recently I've been experiencing really bad panic attacks to the stage where I've had to take time off my day job, my current day job at the moment. Well, and with me, it's a lack of memory. Well, when it kicks in, when it gets to like the point of no return, I'll have a complete blank of memory. Like when I was doing the comedy gig, and I got so nervous about it that I couldn't remember it from half of the gig until I was home and I was like lying on my wife's lap, like crying, saying that what everybody hated me, and I kind of snapped back in. I'm like, what is going on?
no.
What? So
Oh,
it was like that full gap. I had no clue what had happened to me, and it was a bit space of an hour and a half. What? So yeah, I get the whole fact, but to have your body physically shut down, going to like a paralysis, that is terrifying. Like, 'cause I get sleep paralysis, which is a bit of a pain in literally a pain in the neck. What? So I couldn't imagine that. What having when it's when it's a triggering situation. Like, I'm so sorry you have to go through that.
thank you. It only happens when I'm in extremely stressful situations or with people that have literally managed to instill that much stress. I
Mm,
also have chronic people pleasing. So at the same time that this person is like
mm,
belittling me for my body shutting down from stress their
mm.
presence causes,
Yeah,
um, I'm sitting there apologizing for
yeah,
my body shutting down. Like, I'm sorry that my illness is an inconvenience to you. It's like,
yeah. Yeah, well, that's definitely something that's not just a mental health trait; it's a performer's trait as well. Well, I always like find that like I'm always having to apologize for what the way that my brain is operating. What
mm,
is like feeling like, and it's like I feel like I'm letting everybody down. I feel like I'm letting my kids down, my wife down, my family down. And they're all like, Andrew, you're not letting anybody down. What just what we just want you to get better. But you don't feel like that at the time. You just constantly and you belittle yourself as well. So it goes into that self-loathing. It's a horrible cycle. But at the same time, I'm glad someone else gets it. I'm glad someone else is like, right, okay, we're just stacking these Jenga towers together, but eventually we will topple them both at the same time. We will get there.
yes,
Uh, so,
yes.
so what would you say is the best kind of way for you as a coping strategy to get through these type of like triggers?
Um, Sorry. My
Uh,
battery is just letting me know, hey, we're going outside soon. So let me like, do you mind if I turn
oh,
off the camera for 2 seconds?
not at all. Well, we are going on a road trip, my friends, quite literally, as we talked about. Because
We
before we came on
are.
air, I'd actually said, she said, "Is it okay if I might need to go out to the car?" And I was like, "I'm okay with that. This is what we love. We love the madness of this show. Anything can happen on it. It's unedited. It's unfiltered. It's always great."
I am going out to my show, everybody. Or out
Yeah,
to my car. Out to my show. Out to my car.
yeah. But have you ever done like a show from your car?
Yes, I've done several shows. Any person that lets me do my comedy from my car, I try to.
Mm-hmm,
Just because sometimes it happens at weird hours.
mm-hmm.
I was blessed enough to get booked on a show that's based in China. And so
Wow.
rather than keep everybody away, I just went out to my car at 4 in the morning
Wow.
and did that show. Yeah.
That's amazing. So is that the furthest that you've kind of done, like with a Zoom gig? What's the kind of furthest you've traveled?
For Zoom, China, Shanghai.
Mm. And
I was so grateful.
yeah, furthest in IRL in real life?
That's gonna be this summer. I thought my friend was joking. My friend Brian Barbecue.
Mm.
Um, he was like, he made a post. I was like, hey, we're doing Rest Stop Fest. And I was like, yo, sign me up. And he was like,
Wow.
just so you know, it's real. And I'm like, guess we're
Oh,
going to Nebraska.
wow. So
So,
for people like kind of on my side of the pond, what's the Rest Stop Fest?
I guess it's a comedy festival that he's throwing together. I thought he was
Yeah,
joking, and
yeah,
he's not.
yeah.
So I'm
I'm just
like,
I'm just picturing like you just like what taking the car and just stopping at random points across the country, going out doing your set and getting back on the road. Well, I know it's probably not.
no,
I know you'll just be like going to a destination and doing your stuff there, but that sounds so cool. It really does.
I think it's just at one location.
Mm,
In the picture, it's
yeah.
literally a rest stop.
Wow. That's brilliant. That's the type of stuff that should go into like your poetry and your books as well. Definitely.
I'm not the one that put it together though.
Yeah. Well, good, but you're being part of the experience. It's living vicariously, as they say.
Oh yeah. Oh no, no, I'll definitely like advertise about it. I just meant like I can't say credit for the idea.
Yeah. I just had a brainwave. Remember, you're saying that the word that you can't use from that time.
Yes.
Well, I've just remembered what the word is. Well, because I was floundering trying to think of something, and I was like, when I put in the spot, and then my brain's like, oh, I remember this now. The word is crush. It was
Oh no.
yeah, the word crush. That was the one. Like when I was, if I had feelings for someone, I was like, I've got a crush on you. What, and I was just like, oh my god, Andrew. What? No, it's you've went full emo. Don't go full emo. Eh. It was
No, do it. Don't fool emo.
yeah, it was one of those ones. What I remember I had my hair dyed as well. Once it was a deep kind of purpley red, like the fringe, and it looked proper, like my Chemical Romance style. I was like, oh no, right, I've got to shave this
Oh,
bad boy off.
cool.
Yeah, well, luckily there are no pictures that survived from that. It was back on Bebo, so unless they've got good data recovery, it ain't coming back out.
No, I really
Yeah,
wanted that to survive.
yeah.
Let's
A
start a
lot.
GoFundMe so that
Go fund me like for people to bring out all these old photos of me, and I'm like, oh no, 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 no. But it would just be
yes. Just
definite. Oh, it's good.
people's
The people have to know how young and stupid I really was.
one thing.
Oh man! So aside from like the rest stop gig in Nebraska, what other comedy gigs have you got lined up? Enlighten me.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. So I am going to be performing at Latin Queer on July 30th at the Avalon
Nice.
in Los Angeles. So I'm stoked for that.
Mhm.
And I'm going to be performing at Oxnard Pride. Um, and I have a gig tonight actually at a place called the Tavern off Broadway.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, so I'm very excited. So I have
Oh,
some gigs coming up.
that's good. What any Zoom ones that are coming up recently, or the you back just to doing the live ones now?
No, I do have a Zoom one. I have a Zoom one coming on July 15th or June 15th for the Uncrustables. Hey.
Okay. We are back, my friends. The technical issues have been resolved. But luckily, we were able to get all your gigs, and we can do the promotion. Now, let's promote you, JD. Where can my audience find you on the socials? Sell, baby, sell.
Okay. So my Instagram is JD Stevens, JDSTEPHANS. You can also follow my writer page as James D. Stevens, JAMES D Stevens, STEPHANS. I am slowly trying to get the TikTok thing going.
Mm.
I refuse to accept that I'm 35 and shouldn't be doing that.
In fairness, yeah, I'm at the same boat. I'll be 35 this month, and I'm like, nope, I tapped out.
I'm like, I have no idea how this is going. But if this is what the young kids are doing, I want to appear young. So I'm going to try to figure this out. And then I just look, he doesn't have a clue.
Yeah, I'd be the reverse. I would just want to seem older than I actually am. If I did it, I'd be like going, what is this internet? What? Just really go for But yeah, I got it. Just make the fax machine noise and then really emphasize that I'm like, yep, I'm a 90s. I was 80s baby, 90s kid.
Nice.
Yeah,
TikTok
it's
and Twitter, AD_STEPHANS. So yeah, you can follow me.
yeah. Well, and there's always there are all the good old fashioned Facebook. We can always get find people on there. What for our generation of aging emos, as I call them. Yeah. Well, Jay, you've been an absolute delight to talk to. Like I don't know if anybody has told you this, but you've got such a lovely smile, such a
Thank
lovely smile. We need to see more of it. Whatever keeps you smiling. Let's just keep going with that.
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. So that's going to be leaving women's bodies alone with full autonomy, destigmatizing all mental illnesses and mental health, focusing on the things that matter, ending poverty, homelessness, and can we please stop with the transphobia, homophobia, and have full rights for
Too right. Well, I try and treat it with the whole thing of, what doesn't matter. If you're nice to me, I'm nice to you. That's it. Just don't be a dick. Essentially. So we'll round off by asking you the question that I ask all my guests, since it is a mental health podcast. If you could give one piece of advice to anybody that's struggling with mental health issues at this point in time, what would that piece of advice be and why?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Don't worry, we totally accept the do as I say, don't do as I do. I follow that rule on a daily basis.
Okay. God, I'm like, well, it's like, listen, don't do these things. Everything I've done, don't do that. I would say just get through to tomorrow. And it doesn't matter how you do it. Maybe you do it perfect and maybe you don't do it perfect. And don't focus so much on the perfection, or if you're doing it the way that a neurotypical person is going to do it. Who the fuck cares? Did you do it? Did you make it to tomorrow? Cool. Great. Like, did you remember to do XYZ? Cool. Try just X tomorrow and then add Y. Like, it's okay if you don't do all the things all the time. Try just doing some of the things. Don't beat yourself up for it. And most importantly, if you struggle with trauma like I do, you are not your trauma. You are not the toxic responses that you may have to certain stimuli, to certain people, to certain relationships. You are not your trauma. You are not your toxic response. So, like, you may have toxic behaviors, you may do a toxic action, but you are not toxic, and you're not too much, is what I would tell them.
See, well, and you were like, well, and you totally knocked it out the park, my dear. You knocked it out the park, because that's what we need. You need to hear. Like, you can hear from the doctors, the therapists, like, well, their advice is good. What you need to hear from the people that go through the trenches on a daily basis. That's why I keep picking up the mic. That's why people like yourselves do what you do as well. And we need more of that. Definitely do. Like, JD, like I said, you're an absolute delight. Like, your smile, it's just like it's lighting up. Like, I love it. It's such a beautiful smile. And I hope you're able to find more things to do that keep that smile on your face, because we need to see more of it.
Thanks.
So until next time, my faithful followers, I've been Andrew Durnan. This has been the brilliant JD Stevens. Poet, author, comedian. Is there anything this woman can't do? Probably not. Seriously, check out her Instagram just for her poetry. It's really good. And I'm no just blowing smoke up people's backsides. If it was shit, I would tell her. So yeah, I'm as subtle as a brick to the face, my dear.
I received.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, go check the stuff out. We need more poets in the world. Well, and I need more poets on this show. So if you know any other ones that want to come off and do like that are poetry, like pass them over my way. We need more poetry slams out there.
Yeah, for sure. I also know other people that would probably be interested in the show. If you'd be interested.
Definitely. Like I say, I have no morals. Everything's cool. As long as they're involved in arts in some way, or have some sort of mental health issue or mental health in general, which let's face it, is everybody in the world, they're more than happy to come on.
Awesome. I'll throw some people your way.
See, and that is how you network, my friends. So until next time, my faithful followers, again, the lovely JD Stevens, check out our socials, like give her a follow, give her a plug. Wow, just like I'm doing with everybody that I have on here, just to help people. So until next time, take care, stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye.